Hello and welcome to Howard's Cave of Wonder. I'm Chris, aka Howard Blues, welcoming you back down here to my Cave of Wonder and my hobby vlog. Today, I'm going to play with something that I've had for a while, and I don't know, I've been hesitant to use it, but I have these tinted glosses from Reaper Miniatures. I have, I think, 6 colors. I got a red, a yellow, purple, green, blue, and then there was a special edition black, which I have as well. It's in a drawer. And they're made really to help when you have a translucent figure like this fairy, or this dire gummy bear that I have on my desk that my kids are looking to paint. The idea it being that they kind of tint stuff, but they don't get rid of kind of that translucent effect that you have in the plastic. And it's supposed to be a bit more of almost on the varnish side. The thing that I would put here, and this is off of the little packet thing that came with them. It says, application, tinted glosses were designed for use on transparent minis, but also work great on opaque models as well. The best way to think about tinted glosses is to treat them like colored top coats. When you finish painting a mini, it's common to seal it with a matte or gloss sealer. Tinted glosses behave the same way, just colored variations. If you put too much sealer on, your figure might look goopy, or you might see leftover brush strokes. They really said that these are they give a good, better, best, and so they have like the good is your regular brush, but the best is an airbrush. So it they also say that sponging, similar to makeup application sponges with foundation, and stippling with a sponge can help spread the gloss more evenly across the surface. So you can use a brush. They say an airbrush is best. I don't have an airbrush. I'm gonna do it in brush. What am I painting? Well, I decided it was time to tackle this lovely water feature that belongs to none other than Bruce the Shark. I thought about working on Bruce, and I don't have quite as much time today to paint, so I thought, let's get this done and give these a try. And recently, if you watched my How to Paint with Kids video, my daughter actually was the first to get to use these, as she used it on painting her dire gummy bear. So we're gonna have some fun with this. To get this water effect, I've been thinking about it, and I want to try to put in some layers. I have blue, green, and purple set off. I kind of want to see if I can use the purple to make a darker blue, and maybe start with that and try and get that into some of the crevices and such of this, and then do kind of a blue and then maybe a blue green. I'm going to mix them and see what I kind of get for colors here. So I'm going to move my water out. We'll kind of move this in. I know it's not the best palette to see color because it's messy, but we can actually tilt the camera down a wee bit. So I'm going to choose that light spot there. We'll start with our blue. I'm just going to put a little bit. Now, one of the other key things that they said in the little sheet was that you shouldn't use water to thin these, that you should use flow improver. So I don't have flow improver, so I might have to get some. Oop, that needs a shake. Quick shake. So I don't have flow improver, so these might be a bit more on the thick side. We'll make that work. So that's it. I'm hoping to add just a little bit of purple to this because I don't want it to be too much, but 2 drops to 4 is my thinking, my rational thinking. So we have that, and then I'm going to come up here, my green. I add a little bit more there. I'm trying to create kind of a teal color that I'm going to use as kind of a highlight per se, because I want to try and keep that translucentness. So we'll mix in that purple and blue. As I said, I'm hoping to kind of create, there we go, have that nice dark blue color. Yeah. So that I'm going to try and paint in any recesses. Then I'll mix this guy up. And this I kind of want to try and get to be a bluish green or a teal, which is going to just serve a little bit as my highlight. I want to use this very little. Now, one of the other reasons I'm kind of mixing all my colors up right now is I am kind of hoping to wet blend this on a little bit. Just because I'm not doing this in a traditional way where it's like I can do my shadow and I let it sit and dry, and then I come in and I do my base tone, and then I come in and do the highlight afterwards, and you get a nice blend, and then you glaze it. Because I'm still trying to keep some of this translucence to it. So for the sake of this, I want to kind of hit it real fast and then kind of switch my colors. And again, I'm going to try and block it in as best I can. So I'm going to bring my camera back up a little bit to there. I am going to use a bigger brush because I'm a little bit okay if it's sloppy. It's water. It's not. I need it to obey certain rules, but I don't need it to be 100% perfect. And I'm going to start dark, work my way up. There's a nice little kind of crevice here, and I'm just going to start putting this on. I think my brush was a little too wet, and so that's why it's not picking up real well. But you can kind of see what I'm doing. You just kind of work it into some places, and it's okay if I miss or get something in the wrong spot, because we're going to try and be kind of quick with this. Because I am going to be coming in with the other colors to try and fill it in. So this is kind of coming off very runny. I think that's because of some of that stuff that fell out of there, but it's okay. Then I'm just going to kind of take very quickly and just try and coat kind of the inside of this. Sorry, pop the brush, just to kind of help darken that up a little bit. Shark. Okay. So I got that on. Now I'm going to bring in my blue, and I'm going to again try to just hit in on what I think are a little bit more of the high ground spots. This is my first time using it, so we're learning on this very quickly. It's not really going on well, and I'm wondering if there's not something on the model that is causing it to be a little deceptive in this. Usually with these WizKids models, they're meant so that you can just kind of pull them out and go, but we're seeming to have just a bit of trouble. Although it's hard to say. It's my first time really kind of using these paints. So again, just trying to kind of the tops of things. And I am planning to kind of come back in, especially where like the waves are breaking, with some actually opaque white to kind of create my foam and my surf. So just kind of again. Applying everything. As I said, I'm coming in with this green in a few places, kind of trying to highlight it up. I kind of want, especially towards the top here, I want it to have kind of that Caribbean bluish green tone to it. And it's okay, as I said, I was going to kind of wet blend this in a little bit. Although I don't know if you can actually wet blend these paints. And we'll see. If this doesn't come out well, then we've at least tried, and I can always paint it opaque. But I figured this was a good time to try it. But sometimes we don't know how things are going to work out until we give them a try. And what I might have to do is kind of let this first coat dry a little bit and then come back in with the blue and just kind of see if I can't tie some of it together. Maybe with the dark blue a little bit more too. But just trying to add, as I said, some color variation to it. And right now it looks a bit of a honking mess. You know, here's the thing. I bought these WizKid models mostly for just the fun of it, and to paint something different. So I'm not like torn up that this maybe isn't working like I thought it would. But I'm having fun. And that's what matters. Have fun with your paint job. Even if it doesn't come out the way you expect. Get a little bit more of that dark. Try and come in here. Yeah. As I said, just kind of pushing color in and letting it go where it goes and just having fun. I've kind of used up all the color I made. It's kind of a paint hog, but I'm going to say it looks a lot better on camera than it does in person. That's okay, though. That's okay. That's it. I'm learning. I'm learning, figuring it out. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit and dry a little bit. It's not terrible, actually. The more I look at it, the less I hate it. No, I just said I was gonna let it sit, but just kind of moving some of this green around a little bit. I definitely think I need to come back in and add a little bit more blue in places to it. But overall, I'm quite happy with this. It's got a nice kind of watery look to it. As I said, I want to do a little bit more. But I feel like I need to let this layer dry and then do a second layer. But I think that's going to look good. I think it'll look good on Bruce. Put a little bit of white at the top. That might be good. We might be good. So sometimes you just gotta do fun things like this. So this model did come with because I bought this as a whole kit. I came with this small gelatinous cube, and I think this would be a really easy. I'd mix up some green and yellow, get kind of that lime green color, kind of like a mushroom here. I think that would look pretty good. I got nothing better to do. Let's open this bad boy. Let's paint a gelatinous cube. This wasn't on my plan. Wasn't on my bingo card for today. I'm in a weird mood. Oh, and as tradition, hey, when you own a cave, you can just put stuff anywhere. Future me is going to hate that I did that. So as I kind of queue up this cube and get it stuck down, this is a 3D printed one. That's kind of cool. Cool. How there to hold that on. So I wanted to maybe talk about it since I haven't done a lot of hobby related stuff. It's been a little hard this week to do so. And let me tell you the reason why. I don't usually talk about this, but I feel it's fair. Just because it's the big thing in my life right now. And it explains why maybe I haven't done as much hobbying as I would like. So about a month or so ago, he's got some supports, but I think I might leave those. I distracted myself, and this is going to be a blinding miniature, so I don't know that you're going to see it. But he's got little, if we can get on this camera, he's got little supports from the 3D print job. You can kind of see them there. Normally, I would take and knock those off. I'm not going to, because the way that skeleton is in there and sculpted, it's got some of the gelatinous goo in there. And so I think I am going to just leave that in there and let the just paint it so it looks like it's kind of ooze and goo kind of through there. I don't know if it'll work. I don't know if it'll look cheesy. I'm gonna do it. Anyway, a couple months ago I posted a video and it had a somewhat clickbaity title: "Can I finish 6 miniatures with back pain?" And I felt really bad with that, on the fact that somebody made a comment, and it was a great comment. It was recommending a channel to me for an individual who does a lot of physical therapy stuff, and it was kind of a, hey, you should check this out, this could help you. I mean, it was a thought out comment, and I said thank you to that person because I appreciated the thought that they had with it. Hey, I'm trying to help out. That's great. But the truth is that physical therapy is not going to help, because that's not really what's causing the pain. It's nothing like a physical, like, oh, I threw out my back. To give the very quick story, about 5 years ago, we found while working with a neurologist, a lesion in my spinal cord. I suffered from what they call transverse myelitis. It's, the simple way to put it is, my body decided to attack itself. And it attacked my spinal cord and left a scar, this lesion. Fast forward now 5 years, and for 5 years, I have suffered from what they call central pain syndrome. It's nerve pain is the best way to put it. I feel tingling sensations. I sometimes feel like I'm burning, and sometimes I feel crampy, and stuff hurts, and where that lesion spot is, it hurts, and it's a very painful thing at times. And that's what I was dealing with. It's not something that physical therapy would really help. Rest, exercise does help, but recently they put me on a medication that should hopefully help as well. So that's the back pain that I was kind of dealing with and kind of complaining about. And while I appreciate, as I said, the individual's comments about, hey, you check this guy out, great stuff. It's not something that can really help. But yeah, the reason I bring this up is the reason I haven't done much hobbying is the last visit with my neurologist suggested me going on a med that can have some serious side effects and some life-changing implications. And I had to weigh all that. And needless to say that it was surprisingly harder than you would think. It meant giving up things that I love. It means changes that affect me for the rest of my life. And, it's like, was that the right decision to make? Who's to say? And so there was just a lot of thinking about it. For the record, I have gone on it, and it is actually day one. Still have the pain. And not that this drug will necessarily cure the pain, but it should help. And but that's kind of been on my mind and keeping me a little bit out of the hobby mood. So, all right, you can see this a little bit better than with what I did with the water. It's just coming out nice and kind of smooth, a little streaky with it. But you can see that really what it's meant to do is it's meant to tint. So that went from a white, kind of clear like this guy, to now this lovely lime green color. Looks good. And I'm going to switch brushes because on this guy I want to be left. So there you go. That's my so that's where my back pain comes from. And again, nothing against the person who put that. I actually thought it was very nice that they were like, hey, check this out, it can help. It's just one of those, I don't know that will help me, and I've tried a lot of that sort of stuff to deal with it. So it's just part of the human body. As I am recording this, it's a Sunday morning, so later this week I will be going in for a MRI, check everything over again, as I do every few years. And the hope is that we will not see any new scarring in my body, because part of that transverse myelitis diagnosis, we discovered that there's a great potential for me to be diagnosed with MS. And so we just always hope and pray that I survive another year without any scarring, because as long as I don't have any more scarring and another episode, then I stay off that diagnosis. That is always the hope. And such. And I'm sharing a lot of kind of like maybe more medical stuff than you're hoping that your YouTuber will share with you. And as I said, I don't usually like to talk about it. I don't like being defined by my conditions and such. And I don't really want to live my life in fear that, hey, I might have this, MS. So I try and just live life to the fullest, which is why if you've ever noticed me being kind of a positive and a happy person. It's me trying to live up to that and again not be defined by it. All right. It's looking good. The lighting on it is so bright on these translucents that they're sticking out. These are kind of fun to play with. They're interesting. I will definitely say that. I'm going to try a little bit different color on some of these bubbles. Maybe not on the bubbles. Maybe I should let those bubbles be kind of clear. I'm going to try and go around the bubbles. I think that's the play. I'm trying to... That is it. I'm learning. It's a new paint. And when you try a new paint, sometimes you have to figure it out some. So that's always part of the fun, is trying to figure out how do I use these things. So trying to just add one more coat to lock in some of that color. Don't worry, I'll come back to Bruce's water. I'm just giving that plenty of time. So, yeah, new paint, new hobby, new things. But otherwise, pretty slow on the hobby front, which is sad. I enjoy a good hobby. I can share. Hey, if you like this banter and you always wish, gosh, Howard, it'd be great if you had somebody to chat. I'm going to throw it out there to check out, and I'll put a link down in the bottom. But I do a weekly podcast with a group of friends of mine. It's called the Triple B, or Beer, Blues, and BS. And we had to record a special episode kind of to help build up our buffer that we usually keep. And I was joined by my buddy Derek, the local geek, and we talked gaming and role-playing and all of that. So if you want some more banter, go check out that episode 251. And as I said, I'll put a link down below. Go check it out. And, enjoy kind of some chat. I'm hoping in the future, like, as I continue to experiment with new things to do with this channel and new things to try, I'd like to find some ways that I can incorporate some of my buddies, like Derek, because he's a gamer as much as I am and a great guy. So it'll be fun. But yeah, go check out that conversation. We had a really great time getting to talk geeky stuff. That we don't normally get to talk a whole lot on the rest of the show because we're kind of the resident board game geeks of the Triple B. So, but go check that out. Also, I've pitched it a couple of times, and you've probably heard he's got his own YouTube channel called Local Lego Builder, kind of playing off his local geek nickname. And yeah, he does little shorts of him building Lego sets. So it's not a long watch that I'm asking you to check out, but go take it in. If you're into Lego. So he's just starting, kind of learning how to edit and all of that, and fun stuff, and a good guy to support. So check that out as well. Okay, enough of the slime. Back to the water. To the water. Back to the water. Back to the water. Is it still wet in some of the deeper crevices? And I'm kind of okay with that. It's got just a nice enough tint. I might, as I said, come in with some more of the blue. But here's what I'm finding with these glosses. The more you use them, it doesn't, especially on these translucents, it doesn't necessarily make the colors, like it adds more saturation and such to it, but it makes them darker. So in this case, I don't necessarily want to go too dark with it. And truthfully, I'm overall pretty happy with it, but it just seems like what it does is and I should have known, it says tinted glosses. It kind of goes on a little on the clear side, and then just kind of glosses into that translucent. So it's a really interesting kind of thing to work with here. So, as I said, I'm kind of coming in, and I'm trying to focus maybe on places where I think like, yeah, I wanted a little bit more opaque. Pick up in here. So I'm just kind of applying that to and from there. Maybe a little bit down here. I kind of want it to be more of the dark water. So yeah, I do like every now and then trying some new kind of paints and things like that, because it pushes you to try and maybe level up your painting game, and maybe help you find new ways to do this. So I do think that these, I do want to try that. And now that I've read that now thing for a couple of times where it says, you know, you can also use this on opaque models. I'm like, huh, wonder how it would work. So I might have to find a good sacrificial model to paint, and try some of these on there. So yeah, just kind of, I said, coming in, adding in some blue in places where I think also kind of taking some of those really heavy purpley spots and maybe feathering them out a little bit more. As I said, I need to then come in, and I'll probably come in with a couple things of white, as I want to kind of, as I said, build up some of the foam that you get with kind of waves. There's kind of that nice texture for that in places. So we'll add some of that into it as well. But overall, I am getting to be very happy with this, and coloration on it, and trying to, again, make it look very watery and all of that. Got some swirls of color. I think it's looking, said, pretty right on. So interesting. All right, I gotta let that dry. While we're doing that, I can figure out what colors we're gonna rock with here. So I'm looking for blues. I think I'm gonna pick up this aquamarine blue. It'll be kind of my first color. As you can see, kind of a colder white color. I think we'll follow that up with a little of this non-metallic metal silver highlight. It's got a little bit grayer tones. I think will kind of help me build, and then we'll hit it with a brighter white. We'll go with some actual pure white. We'll hit it with that. Meanwhile, I have some skeletons that are in there, so we'll maybe grab some polished bone and hit them up as well as we continue our painting extravaganza here on Howard's Game of Wonder. I'm gonna let my water sit for a bit, and we'll start with Mr. Skeleton. Now, because I've already put on the slimy slime on that, what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to hit it just straight with polished bone. And then I'll go from there. I'm a little curious to see how I want to handle this. Because, again, I'm playing with paint that I don't normally play with. So I want to try and figure out what is maybe the best way to do that. I don't want to necessarily paint it like I would traditionally paint any bone, because that's a hard just because it's a different beast in this case. So I'm normally where I would maybe start off with a brown color. I'm going to start off just straight up white. Now, here's the other thing. This is the inner piece of this gelatinous cube, so it's got to kind of shine through all of the whole monster. So it's okay, in my opinion, I guess, to go maybe a little bit more on this brightish solid color than that. Although I do think about it, like, I want to make this so that, say the party has defeated the gelatinous cube, I could lift off the cube part and you have then kind of a cool little marker of like where the cube was in this pile of crim and gore. So trying to do my best here. But I also kind of, as I said, want to leave a little bit of the goo to it. So just making sure I coat the model. Now, here's the other interesting thing, and I haven't done this in a long time. You might have noticed I didn't put any like primer or anything down on this, because the story that you always hear is that Reaper Bones models don't require primer. So here you're kind of getting to see, if you've ever kind of wondered if those claims were true and accurate, you're getting a taste of it right here, right now, as I slap on some color directly onto it. It's always interesting, especially when you're trying to figure out, like, painting translucence like this. It's always a little tricky because you can't quite make out all of the details. It kind of looks a little bit like mush in some ways. So then you kind of have to twist and turn and look to go, okay, what is this? Is this a bone? Is this slime? There's a part of some armor on here. So just trying to hit all of those. And it's interesting because as I do that, I'm finding places where, like, I missed with that gloss. Like, there's a string up here. The nice thing is my gloss is still a little bit around, so I can just kind of come back in, touch that up. Just, as I said, kind of have on these things. Where I got that little bit too much white paint, we'll just come back in again with that tinted gloss. Give me a chance to see. That might just make it a little on the brighter side. Okay. That's coming together quite nicely, if I do say so myself. Now, one thing I'm kind of seeing that I think would work pretty well, because I was trying to do those bubbles. So I might actually take a little dungeon slime, with appropriately named color, which is kind of a lightish white. And I think what I'm going to do, kind of a greenish, like pastel. We'll just try on this bubble right here. But what if I hit it? Not too heavy with this, just because one of the things I noticed with that skeleton, and just how it worked, it was still a bit on the translucent side. I'm using a nice thin coat, so I'm gonna just add some of that to it. And those bubbles, hoping to kind of keep still a little bit of that translucentness, and hopefully add just a little bit of texture and color variation to this Gelatinous Cube. I was not expecting to paint a gelatinous cube today, but it's actually right now serving as a great little test piece for what I want to do next, which is the water on my for Bruce. So kind of getting a nice feel for it and for this paint. I definitely think the next time before I use it, I want to pick up some flow improver. So I want to try that and see how does that maybe make a difference to this stuff. But it's pretty good stuff though. And the nice thing is because it's kind of that top coat with it, I shouldn't really have to do much for sealing it. I kind of hit this spot right here too. Oh, it might even come in a few places. This just give it a little bit of a highlight in places. Too much paint on my brush. It's fun. Painting is always fun. You get to do so many interesting things. I'm really glad I kind of took the attitude of just, hey, let's just do this. Sometimes you have to do that and just have kind of that fun with what you're doing. I think part of my problem is I don't have enough in this dungeon slime down quite far enough. I'm kind of off camera. So just adding in some colors here and there. Okay. Now I should, before I get too far, come back in here because he's got some bubbles. Got a little too focused and went off camera. I in chatting with the local geek in his Lego builds, he talked about how it was he had to find and figure out how to, where to place his hands and such with building to kind of get the best effect. I shared with him that's the hardest part of sometimes doing this show is the temptation of how I have my setup. Makes it a little difficult at times to find that right position. So, okay, let's get back to some water. It's looking good, if you ask me. But I think if we add in some nice opaque color in certain spots, I think we will hit what we are looking for. Now with this, because I'm doing kind of a sea foam, breaking of waves. Again, I don't necessarily want to be 100% perfect with this. So I'm just going to, and I don't really want a whole lot on my brush. I'm just going to kind of come in and kind of cover these areas where I think it should break. And I'm just kind of stippling with my brush on. I'm not worried about being perfect, because I am going to come back over this with other colors. And if I miss a spot here or there and another color hits it, that's okay. In this kind of build-up process that I'm doing, I want to get a true feel. And truthfully, by leaving and missing spots, it allows for other colors to come in and hit different things. And it's kind of like underpainting. So it's okay. Oh, man, if I get this done, which I should, we will be in a great position to finish Bruce very quickly. Which would be awesome. Bruce has been a big project for me on this channel, and I'd love to get him done. It's interesting. When I started this, I just kind of always thought it would be, well, I'll just paint whatever I'm painting and it'll be fine. And then I decided to start doing these projects like Bruce and the green or the red Gobbo. And now it's like I come down here and I'm like, well, I can't paint that because I wasn't going to do Howard's Cave of Wonder, and that's a Howard's Cave of Wonder model. People might be upset if I skip out on part of the steps. Put some real paralysis into the painting side of things. Well, I can't paint that. That's a Howard's Cave of Wonder thing. I can't paint that. That's a Howard's Cave of Wonder thing. So I'm even going to come down here. Some of the water is a little bit torrent. Just add a few. Kind of bits to it. Just kind of, as I said, looking, because water behaves in such a fun way. Even coming along here on the back and finding some of these little ridges and such, I think will just help add to the illusion, that he's jumping out of the water. I'm not gonna lie, when I first started applying the colors to this and it was so kind of clear and runny, I was a little concerned that, like, oh man, this isn't gonna work. I'm not gonna be happy with this. This is not gonna be great. And I don't know. I've kind of changing my tune to some of this. And the more I kind of putz around with it, it's coming together quite nicely. You're going to kind of come in along here and just kind of hit some ridges. Not too hard, just again, with painting, you always want to try and focus things towards the face. In this case, I mean, the feature is Bruce jumping out of the water. That's the feature. And so if I can bring people's attention towards that, well, that's good. So kind of, as I said, giving just that nice touch looks good. Even as I said, hitting some of these spots I hit down here just will help help with some of that selling. Okay, I don't want to waste too long, so we're going to just move to our next color. Kind of do the same thing, going over kind of the same places. I might hit some spots that I didn't hit the first time. That's okay. We are just trying to build up colors in certain places so that it has some depth, but also if I hit a spot that I didn't hit before, it's going to have a different reaction to the paint that was underneath it. And so it will give a different effect, which in a way is also a good thing. So again, just going to kind of come in and kind of tap in here. And I kind of want to do a little bit less than what I did with the first one, but still kind of hit over it. See what we can hit. And some places maybe that, again, I missed. Yeah. And again, this is just now adding in more of that white color to it. And that blue is still okay because it's a nice base. That's going to, again, help me add just a little bit of that chaos of, hey, water spray. Just hitting, again, some of these different places. And if there's spots that as I do this, I'm like, oh man, I missed with the blue. I'm not worried about going back and necessarily getting it 100% right. Because again, it'll still work out. Now, when I do come down like into here, I do want to be a little bit more cautious. Oh, let's figure it out. Just because this is not quite as surfs up as the other, and I don't want to overdo it. I'm just trying to, again, maybe hit a highlight here or there. Just try to sell my illusion of water shooting up. I'm just kind of then, yeah, brushing stuff in. My water is looking great. As I said, I got one more little coat of pure white to slap on there, and we'll call it a victory. Now here again, with this pure white, I want to just stipple it on, but I do kind of want to be a little bit more cautious because it's pure white. So I really do try to want to hit kind of all of the highest points. And really just make this thing hopefully sing a little bit. A little heavy there, but part of it is I'm just, I don't know. Don't know why I got a little heavy-handed there. Lost brush control for just a sec. So this brings up to me an interesting question that I'll pose to you, the viewer, as I do this. Because one of those things I've been wondering about as I've been doing some editing. And it's, I watch a lot of YouTubers when they do, you know, a painting tutorial like this or such. They will, when they get into just kind of a long process that they're doing, and there's just not a lot of stuff to say about it, like what I'm doing right now, which is applying white to this, kind of giving that final foamy highlight. You know, I tend to choose Timelapse just because I feel like it at least allows you to see all the process, even if it's just going very quickly. But I know a lot of other YouTubers will take and just cut. So like they might say, and we apply white as a highlight, and you get to see, you know, a few shots of them painting the model at different angles, applying that white. And that's it. And I guess I just am curious. Do people prefer, you know, a quick time lapse, or just a little sample of, and here's what I did here? I want to know. I'm curious about what is people's preferences. I think, as I said, part of why I like the time lapse is that I don't feel like I'm robbing you of the time, or the, like, hey, here's really what I went through to do this. I think I've stated on here many a time, and I believe hobbying happens at the speed of hobby. And sometimes when we watch a lot of those YouTube videos and such, because those guys have to produce a video every week, you know, which is great. You know, they cut out a lot of that stuff because they got to move a bit fast. I'm not under quite that same constraint, but I've often then wondered, like, you know, is this one better? But I feel like a time lapse, you get to see, like, hey, here is like how long it took me. Here is, you know, I'm not a speed painter. I'm not, you know, I paint this at the speed that I paint it. And you're kind of getting to see, yeah, I speed it up, but you can see like all of the intricate brush strokes. You can see the failures when I have failures. I don't know. To me, it shows more of the process. But, you know, let's like to ask people what they think. So I'm just kind of finishing up with a few little dabs here and there. Then I will kind of call this done. I'm just kind of, as I said, streaking in a few, just kind of using it like a passing stroke to just, again, add some like opaqueness to it. It's kind of almost a dry brush stroke, but just, again, it's not going to cover all of that tint, but if I can catch just some of the highlights and such, just to add a little oomph to it. Okay. Emotion. Okay. Ta-da! We got water. Looks pretty good, if you ask me. I'm really happy with that. Okay. Yeah. I can also see by the time that yeesh, I've hit my hour mark. You know, that's usually why I try and keep this show too, is a fine hour. So I'll maybe, I don't really want to take Bruce out of his holder, so you'll have to wait to see some photos of what Bruce looks like in this water, but I'm hoping to tackle him next. So hopefully we'll get there and get this project done. Just with Bruce, I mean, I really just want to do a quick glaze over his skin to kind of bring everything together. Some highlights on the white of his skin. I want to do a little red stuff in his mouth, just to color it up, kind of glaze in some red. And I just really got eyes and teeth. And then Big Bruce will be done, and he can then get in his water base, and we can have this project finished. So I think it's one more Howard's Cave of Wonder. We'll get Bruce done, and hey, we'll have it. You know, first model of the year complete. Actually, no. Yeah, first model of the year complete. I'm gonna try and keep track of how many models I paint this year. I think that's one of my hobby goals. I want to see, because I always want to see, can I paint more models this year than I did last year? And yet I never keep track. So we'll try and keep track a little bit with this. We'll put a little counter up. And every time I get to the vlog, I'll have to, because man, that'll really make me admit to like how slow I've gotten at painting. Anyway, fun times. Anyway, thank you for joining me in this little hobby vlog as we've tried out some fun paints. As I always said, if you make it this far into the video, thank you. I appreciate it. If you're willing to give a like or subscribe, that's great. You don't have to, but it does help this small YouTube channel grow. And with that, hopefully we'll catch all of you back down here in the cave again next time. Good morning, everybody.